What is up, guys? Welcome to today's scientifically cultivated review, and in this video I will be covering Vinland Saga's second season. Now, I know I am quite literally like 7 months late to checking out Vinland Saga season 2, but hey, better late than never. I also want to preface this with stating that season 1 for this anime was absolutely amazing. It slapped, and there is no one that will convince me otherwise. And Thorfinn, the main character in the first season, was on this crazy quest for revenge, traveling with Askeladd, the man who had killed his father, and throughout the season just becomes an absolute badass. Like, this little 16-year-old boy was more badass than like 30 normal Vikings all at once. And that's all I'm really gonna say when it comes to season 1, because that's not really what this video is about. It is about the second season of this show, and I'm going to try to keep this relatively as spoiler free as possible, but I may drop in like a little nugget or two here and there to get my point across. Starting off, I just kind of want to lightly touch on the animation. Season 2 of Vinland Saga really pulled an Attack on Titan, because season 1 was animated by Wit Studios and then was passed over to Mappa for season 2. And I'm just gonna say it, I feel like season 2 definitely took a hit when it comes to the animation. I mean, I'll play a clip here. The first season definitely used like different angles a little bit better, and there were scenes where the shit was just peak animation. Moving on though, that is not all that has changed though. Season 2's pacing is like way different, like complete 180. Enough for like a significant amount of people to say that they thought this was like the most boring anime ever. Because like I said earlier, Thorfinn in season 1 was an absolute badass. And I'm just gonna say it, no one was really watching him for, you know, significant character development or any soppy, like boring, slow shit. People were tuning into Thorfinn to see him slice and dice through Vikings and eventually have that final duel with Askeladd and finally get revenge for his father. Mixed with the great animation, season 1 was just action and fight scenes and, you know, villages being burned. And season 2 really slows that down and even removes a lot of it. And season 2 takes place a couple years after season 1, and Thorfinn is a slave pretty much throughout the entire duration of the second season. I'm not going to go into reasons as to why, because that would be spoilers. But he's living on this huge farm, and, you know, eventually another slave gets introduced with him, and they eventually become good friends, and they farm. They have, like, their own little plot of land to work on, and, like, deadass, a lot of scenes in this show are just the two best of buddies on their farm, you know, cultivating the fields and chopping down trees. I kid you not. But for this season, it's not about like what they're doing in the show, it's about what they're talking about, what they're experiencing. This season really delves into Thorfinn's mind and his struggles with things like PTSD, and it kind of continues that plot point from season 1 of what it means to be a true warrior. You know, if you watch this show, you know that phrase comes up like a million times. Season 2 is pretty much Thorfinn finding what it means to be a true warrior, and following in his father's footsteps, he figures out that a true warrior has no enemies and does not need a weapon. Him and Canute pretty much swap places, and I won't touch on too much with Canute due to spoilers, but obviously he is in this season, and he turns into this like snarky ruler who is fueled by the memories of his father, kind of also dealing with a PTSD thing just like Thorfinn is. And I feel like personally, just like Askeladd in season 1, you kind of have like a love-hate relationship with Canute in season 2. In the beginning, it's great to see him again, you know, see who he's become after all these years. Then throughout the season, you know, as there's scenes of him, you kind of see him do some questionable and sometimes even downright awful things, and see what kind of person he's slowly become, kind of fueled by his father a little bit. You see him slowly become a person that he didn't want to be. And then at the end of the season, like I said, I'm not going to go into it, but he kind of redeems himself somewhat and kind of becomes likable just a little bit more. Like I said, the closest character I can compare season 2 Canute with is Askeladd, because depending on the episode, you either love or hate him. Going back a little bit though, like I said, Thorfinn has also swapped places, because just like Canute in season 1, he's become a lot more docile, not really wanting to fight. He would rather think things out, he would rather use his words, and worst case scenario, if he is forced to fight, just like his dad, he would rather use his fist as to not hurt everyone, rather than using a weapon and potentially killing people, because especially towards the end of the season, Thorfinn realizes that when you kill someone, you're not just killing that single person, you're affecting that person's children, that person's wife, husband, father, mother, all of that. And he comes to like a realization that all the people he's killed in his past, he hasn't just killed them, he's killed their family. And while the action for this season isn't really there comparing it to season 1, it is just peak character development. And I think the ending of this season is really nice to see, and it sets up what I'm assuming is going to be a 3rd season at some point. So while this season is like a whole lot slower, I'm really emphasizing that it is a lot slower compared to season 1, and it really toned it back when it comes to like the fighting and just action in general. It really dives a little bit deeper into Thorfinn as a person, you know, his ideologies, his struggles with what he has done in the past, and what he wants to do in the future. So in this episode of Scrutiny Scan, I'm going to be giving a 7 out of 10 for Vinland Saga Season 2. I really love the amount of action that Season 1 had, and I really did miss it throughout the entirety of Season 2. You know, seeing Thorfinn slow down is just weird. I'm used to him being like that angsty, you know, pissed off teenager, and he's just not that anymore. But I also kind of like where the story is going with Thorfinn, you know, seeing him grow as a person, really walk in his dad's footsteps, and I feel like my love of that, I guess, outweighs my wishes just to see more fights. That said, if you enjoyed this Scrutiny Scan, like and subscribe for more scientifically cultivated reviews, join my Discord server link below, and I will see you guys in the next one.